hey, this song is banging. It's going to be all that. Let's use this as our opening music.
And then that 2 days later, it won an Academy Award.
That's good. Magic
We didn't
touch.
we didn't even know. Man, come on.
I didn't even know it was up for Academy Award. You're right.
I mean, it's like, don't mess with us. If you have something that you're trying to make famous, call us. We'll put it on and it'll happen. Because this is
You realize we're gonna get slammed with tapes, CDs, MP4s, and people like performing singing badly.
listen, our listening family is not shy with sharing their ideas anyway. I'll tell you that.
You got that right.
They reach out all the time. They'll use any medium, and like you said again, sometimes it's hey, I got this tape, I got this idea. Young listeners are like,
Okay.
what is a tape?
Wait, it'd even be worse if they pulled out an 8-track, right?
Oh man, I'm gonna give you a flashback in a minute once we kind of get through the open. But listen, folks, this is the Power Hour, or as we say, just a couple old guys drinking coffee, talking junk in the morning. Well, I'm drinking coffee. What are you drinking? You're not
Actually,
drinking
I don't
coffee.
have anything in front of me today. No, I didn't bring anything down. You
Cheers,
know,
cheers. So the man
cheers.
without beverage is Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
And the man caffeinating himself fully right now is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
Got to do it. Got to do it. Can't make it through the morning without it. And I don't know what she's drinking in the studio because she's got so much work to do. You never know. Queen Kuwaisa.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wednesdays are my favorite day.
Hump day.
But no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you both doing?
We are yet alive and
Yeah.
hanging in there.
Yeah, I'm
How,
doing well.
how was your ride in today?
It wasn't too bad. A little more traffic on the road today. It's not super, super hot, but you could tell it's about to get, it's still muggy and like kind of gross. And I think that we're supposed to have some thunderstorms a little bit later, so we'll kind of see. Like, it's just been kind of scattered all throughout, the week. But I know yesterday, like, towards the evening, it's a little rough over here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, the ride was easy. And there really wasn't, like, a whole bunch of, like, water pockets and things like that on the road, at least my way coming. But I would still, have people look out for those little pockets just to be on the safe side. You don't want to, like, hydroplane or anything.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, the ground was rumbling yesterday. It just kept rumbling. There was all that thunder yesterday evening. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, we had
Thanks, Koisha.
we had lightning hit pretty close to us yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Knocked out power for a minute, and
I
but
see
it was
we
like,
weren't the only ones. I don't feel so bad now.
yeah, I mean, just luckily it wasn't too long. But yeah, bro, that's when you look out and see how close it is, knock the transformer out.
That's deep.
It was
Yeah,
like it was a fireball.
we lost it for like 4 hours yesterday, so uh, it was quite a wild day.
Yep. So hey, so like Kuwaisa said, be careful out there because this time of year, this is when it's just prone. It starts off looking great, and then all of a sudden it's like, these clouds are moving kind of fast, and next thing you know, again, power's out all around you. Hey, if you're watching on Facebook Live this morning, do us a big favor, hit the share button. And glad to see Raphael is in this morning. Robert, Tawanda, Gary, Wanda, Franny is in, Deborah. Glad to see Ed and Kanisha. Then over on YouTube, what's up? Nikki O'Tim is holding it down, as well as others. Come on into this conversation. All right, so listen, total aside,
Hmm.
totally has nothing to do with anything except for the fact that I just saw this yesterday and it blew my mind.
Okay.
So yesterday, I don't know, you know how the internet is. I mean, like literally, you just start looking for one thing and somehow you're at Michael Jackson's Bad video. I mean, do not ask me how I got them. Just scrolling through stuff, and so I literally end up in Michael Jackson's Bad video. And first of all, I forgot that it was directed by Martin Scorsese. First of all,
Oh, wow. Okay.
it's 18 minutes from 1987, But so if you remember, let me just set this up for you. So Michael is doing and remember, this was like when he was the king of like these big videos, Thriller. Everybody remembers Thriller, but I
Billie
forgot how.
Jean, yeah, bad, yeah.
Yeah, but I really forgot how dope Bad was. It's like an 18-minute film. First of all, my question is, where did you show that? Who had 18 minutes?
Do you remember? Videos used to come on Saturday nights. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to come on like I guess MTV. Like not everybody had cable because cable wasn't everywhere. Like Philadelphia was one of the last places to get cable, and even though Comcast started here, really wild. But because you didn't have MTV, you didn't have access to the video channels. But like it used to be Friday nights, you would be able to watch it like after Saturday Night Live. They played videos on NBC or CBS or whatever it was.
Right. All right, so Rob Garland just stole my thunder, but he's right. The part that blew me away is, so it's like this, Michael Jackson is supposed to be a thug, first of all, if you can believe that, who goes off to boarding school or wherever, comes back, and the neighborhood is like, you ain't bad no more. You like soft now. And so the whole premise is he's still bad. But the gang leader is Wesley Snipes.
Oh, wow. I didn't pay attention to that, yeah.
This was like first of all, this is like his first big break. I mean, he had a couple of small pieces before that, but think about this. This is about a year or two before New Jack City. And so we didn't know Wesley Snipes like that. But I urge you to just go look at it. I'm going to tell you, to begin with, Wesley Snipes looks exactly the same at 25 as he does now in his 50s. About to be 60. I'm talking, he looked like an old man at 25. And at almost 60, he looks like a young man. So he's not changed. But his acting in it was just so. I was telling Leslie, I said, you got to see this. This is like, he had just started acting, but it was so, I mean, he was so commanding, and he did not look like an amateur. And anyway, like, it's a total aside, but it just kind of blew me away last night.
Did he dance in the video too?
No.
Oh, okay, he was just playing the role. Okay.
Yeah, no. His role ended when they started dancing, and then they came back to him at the end.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about that.
And Judge McCabe reminds us Prince declined to be in that video with a big laughing emoji. And I read that part of the story too.
So yesterday was actually Prince's birthday. So for folk that, were celebrating Prince's birthday yesterday.
Really? I'm surprised my house wasn't draped in purple.
I forgot about it too, and I'm actually a big Prince fan, so a lot of people don't know that about me.
Wait, it was 2 days ago. I'm looking at it now.
2 days ago. Okay, yeah.
The 7th. Don't get that wrong, because now it'll be like hate mail coming your way. It is not the 8th. The 7th.
I was a Prince fan, so big Prince fan. As a matter of fact, the only popular person that ever has passed away that actually moved me was Prince.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. My wife got upset when Luther Vandross died. Other people got really upset when Michael Jackson died. Didn't faze me, either one of them. But when I heard Prince died, I was really upset.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was upsetting, though. I mean, because Prince was eternally young.
Yes.
And yes, thank you, Aunt Young. I mean, obviously, this conversation bringing everybody out the woodwork. Y'all been quiet all week, but this gets you all going. So Aunt Young says, Lake Minnetonka.
Yes.
Purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yes, Apollonia.
Thanks. And people want to know, did you have a Jerry curl?
Did I have? Oh, excuse me. No, never. Never. Let me clean that up. No, never did.
We could just stay here all day. Deborah says today is Kanye West's birthday. Yeah. Raphael's was yesterday.
Happy birthday to you all.
And wow, bro. Let me just say again, I just felt like it was just like such a revelation. And good morning to Nick Talaferro with his morning words. You're supposed to have evening words. Let me ask you, Nick, your show starts at 4. So from 4 to 5 are those afternoon words with Nick? I'm just asking because you kind of run through two periods of the day, afternoon/evening words with Nick. Check him out today from 4 to 5. He'll give you afternoon words. Then from 5 to 7, he'll give you evening words. That's all with Nick. And no, I didn't have a Cali curl. My mother wasn't having that. She was like, your hair is already curly. So anyway, so we have just totally just ruined the show this morning by going there. But there is some serious news. Congratulations to Dr. Wingard,
Yes.
the first black president of Temple University.
Mm-hmm. Well, as one of our colleagues said, well, you know, Temple's kind of HBCU like anyway. Shout out to Pastor Sean James, whose son is going to Temple, who was like, yeah, Temple's kind of HBCU anyway.
Not unless they have bad registration.
Unless they, yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a big school, man.
Oh, no. Is this your daughter's going to Howard next year?
You're going to Howard, yes.
So is this going to be your first experience with the HBCU?
Yes.
Up close?
Yes.
Get ready. Get ready.
Oh Lord.
Get ready. We got another colleague whose daughter is in the freshman class. Was in the freshman class with my daughter, and like you, she kind of came out of a PWI experience, predominantly white institution. And she was just going off all year about the lack of communication, the registration. This is Howard. I thought it'd be better. I'm like, it is better compared to other HBCUs. Trust me, that's about the easiest process. So I'm just saying, get ready. So I hear you, Temple is HBCU-ish, but not quite.
Yeah.
If you don't have to wait hours for registration and get no callbacks and have to kind of fight your way to the top, then no, you haven't earned that distinction. But man, that's incredible. Dr. Wingard, who is a Westchester native, I wonder how folk are going to treat him. He's got some real bridge building to do. The last president, with his attempt to build the stadium in the middle of the black community and push a lot of people out, just really eroded the community relationship. There's a lot of tension in North Philly and Temple University right now. Some might think this is kind of like Temple's way of bridging that by bringing a black face in. I don't know. But what do you think? You think is he up to it? This is a big job.
I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting. He's at Westchester. Westchester, again, is another town. Like, it's a college town. And I think that there are folk that want to make Philadelphia college universities town. Yeah. The multiple universities that are trying to buy up real estate in the various sections of the city. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this plays out. I mean, my hope is that one of the first things that he does when he arrives is that he starts to get into the community and spend time talking to the neighbors and understanding how they feel about Temple, which is not always good. So, and that he, you know, really respects what they are saying and thinking and experiencing. So, and then does work to address that. So I hope he doesn't come in with the idea of the black dude that's going to get, you know, North Philly straight and, you know, get things going. But instead he comes in with a position of humility and, you know, is trying to figure out ways to be able to build with the community, not against the community.
Yeah, so our good friend Agbona Hagins raises the question. Agbona is a community activist, community leader, says, what does it really mean? Talk about the hiring of Temple's president. The Temple black pandering is deep. And, you know, I was there with the Stadium Stompers, all, you know, with Reverend Bill Moore and a lot of those like amazing community leaders who fought effectively and ended the attempt for the stadium, at least at this point. I don't know where it currently stands, but yeah, man, it was just, you're talking about like an out of touch university. Like for it to be quote unquote HBCU-ish and to be surrounded, or, you know, around North Philadelphia, it just seemed at times sitting in those meetings, listening to board members and to the former president talk about this project as though they were like on a different planet.
Well, I mean, you think about it when you're talking about the board, the president, members of the trustees, they are on different planets, right? They
Yeah.
have no connection. Many of them have no connection to Philadelphia, no connection to North Philadelphia by any means, and so they don't care. They're just trying to figure out how to make Temple the biggest, most powerful, inner city university in the country, which
Mm-hmm.
is very admirable. But buying up and taking land and using eminent domain and all those vehicles to get what they want and manipulate council and others to get that without full partnership of the community. I just think it's totally erroneous and not the way to go. So
Yeah, and Lola Khan on YouTube says Temple and Drexel, St. Joe's have taken over the neighborhoods that they are in. Let me throw University of Pennsylvania in there, Lola, if you don't mind, a friendly amendment. She says student housing, teacher housing, and continuing to build farther and farther into North Philly. I mean, yeah, it's just you wish that you would, as you kind of watch this, that it would be more of a community-driven process, because there's so much opportunity when you have large research institutions in hurting neighborhoods like that, where they could help address myriad issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but it just feels like, again, we're just going in the wrong direction. There was a president there from the 60s, can't remember the name, but I learned this working with Stadium Stompers, who had a mantra that they kind of developed a footprint and said Temple would not build outside of this footprint, not without working with the community first. Man, that footprint is like 3 or 4 times the size now.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so, oh my goodness, it's 6:21. Let's take a quick break and we could come back. We'll continue this conversation and talk about some of the big stories that are in the news today, including the fact that they have arrested someone that they believe to be connected to that tragic Dunkin' Donuts shooting, and may be connected to others, if you believe reports. This is the Power Hour. Hey, do us a favor, hit the share button. We'll be right back. Nick says he might not just be evening words, it may be cuss words with Nick. I don't know what that means. We'll be right back.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
In Philadelphia, everyone is reading Jericho Brown's The Tradition, the 2020 Pulitzer Prize winner in poetry and this year's Free Library One Book, One Philadelphia featured selection. The Free Library will celebrate 8 inspired weeks of programming with a free virtual grand finale on June 9th at 7:30 p.m. The event will include a reading and conversation with Jericho Brown and poet Ursula Rucker, followed by an intergenerational panel of artists, activists, and community leaders, including poet Sonia Sanchez and others. Details at freelibrary.org/one book.
Welcome Black.
It's time to reawaken, reopen, and renew as WURD kicks off our annual 4WURD Early Bird Membership Special. We have stood together every step of the way during the pandemic. Here at WURD, our hosts and producers, elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and of course, the phone lines. We've stayed connected by every means necessary. Let's welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with WURD. Join us Friday, June 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our first In the Community broadcast in over a year as we broadcast live from Fresh Grocer, 4160 Monument Road. It's WURD Radio back in the community. Start or renew your sustaining 4WURD membership for the special discounted price of $75, or if you just want to support the work we're doing, there is now an option to become a digital 4WURD member for as little as $5 per month. Visit wordradio.com/earlybird between now and June 19th to take advantage of our early bird discounted membership special. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Stanley Tyler. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news happenings around Philadelphia and, of course, our opinions. And we have plenty of those. Hey, let me just give a quick shout out to State Rep Derisha K. Parker. Rep, I don't know if I saw you out there yesterday. She's actually on Facebook right now. What the thing about being in COVID is that you don't know what people look like when they're not on a screen. So,
Yeah.
or the face mask. So I was out on the Capitol steps with the governor yesterday with his big announcement that he's going to continue to push for $1.5 billion to go through K through 12 fair funding here. Actually, we had the State Senator Vincent Hughes on yesterday to talk about that issue. And was standing with the governor and multiple representatives, including State Rep Matt Bradford, who extended the invitation for me to come, who is the state General Assembly Appropriations Chair for the Democratic side.
Mhm.
And Vince Hughes saw State Senator Sharif Street, State Senator Vincent Hughes, and a plethora of state reps that were out there as well, some whom I've only seen pictures of and have only seen from a distance. And so I was like, hey, maybe State Rep Parker is out here somewhere, and I don't know what she looks like. So we have never seen each other in person. So anyway, if you were there, just give me a shout, let me know. I was standing out there yesterday. I was the only guy with the clergy collar on, so and a power button. But anyway, it was good to be there. Very excited about what the governor and the Democratic leadership are pushing for. There's a $3 billion surplus this year in the state budget. $3 billion surplus in the state budget. And so they want
out of COVID, coming out of COVID,
$3 billion. Well, I mean, part of that's the American Rescue Plan money. Even though we still did, collect taxes and other things, but $3 billion, we want to take a lot of that money, put it towards our children who have suffered so much during COVID, and put it in their schools and the school districts, and then we want to correct the formula so that the formula is now equitable, the funding formula, and it would actually bring like an additional $400 million a year to Philadelphia public schools, so which they desperately need. So we want to make sure that folk have access to that and are pressing their state reps and state senators to make sure that they vote yes. And not only vote yes, we need them to be champions. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of times you'll talk to a politician and they're like, well, I voted right on that. I'm like, I don't want you to vote right. I want you to be a champion. I want you to go out there and get other state reps and other state senators to sign on to the legislation and vote yes on it. Doesn't make a difference if they're independents, Republicans, or Democrats. Be a champion. Get out in front. Let folk know. State Rep Chris Rabb yesterday reintroduced his bill to put all the money through the fair funding formula, to make sure that that the extra money was going into the account, into the fair funding formula. And so shout out to all those folks: State Rep Rabb, State Senator Vincent Hughes, State Senator Sharif Street, State Rep Matt Bradford, so many other folk out there, State Senator Jay Costa and others that were out there yesterday saying, look, we're going to get this done. We're going to make this happen this year. And to Governor Wolf, who was really out there advocating as well.
So did Joe Manchin vote for it?
Dude, Joe Manchin only votes for what the Republicans want him to vote for.
Now, come on, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Joe, all right, so here's the problem with Democrats going so hard on Joe.
I heard you yesterday what you said.
But they've gone deeper. Yesterday, I didn't expect. I mean, yesterday after the show, I don't know if you saw a lot of the social media. I mean, dude, he's public enemy number one. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, it's electoral politics. You can't be in the room if you don't get elected to be in the room. Can't get elected to be in the room if you don't know your own constituency. He is not from a Democratic state. He is from West Virginia, where even though most of the policies Democrats advocate would help people who live in places like the Appalachian Mountains and some of the hardest hit towns like Charleston and Huntington and other places like that, they would do far better under Democratic policies. But I don't know. Sometimes I think people would just rather vote what makes them feel better than what actually makes their life better. He's from that place. What's he going to do? I get it.
Half of the population of West Virginia lives in poverty. half.
Right. But that
Or
doesn't
almost
matter.
half. It's 42% of the population in West Virginia lives in poverty.
What does that mean?
It means that he should be voting like the infrastructure
No,
bill.
no,
He should be
no.
voting for infrastructure, which would actually help create jobs in West Virginia. He should be voting for voting rights, because if he doesn't get reelected, he's not going to get reelected.
He
So I mean,
is going to get reelected. Look, no, the way
he's
he is
depending on the
acting,
Trumpers. He's depending on Trumpers to get him reelected.
he's from a Trump state. Now, you're going to get 50% from Joe Manchin. You're never going to get 100%, but the 50 is better than zero, which is what you would get from a Republican in his seat. My point is, why do Democrats, and progressive in particular, spend so much energy fighting themselves? Because
Well,
let's be
here's the thing, though. It's not like they're just fighting themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Joe Manchin is now basically stopping the Democratic agenda from going forward.
He is
because he is, because Kamala Harris can't come in and cast her vote until it's a 50-50 split. She can't come in and cast the vote because he won't line up with the other 49 Democratic senators.
You still have the filibuster, so it doesn't matter, and he's not going to vote.
He won't get rid of the filibuster. He can get rid of the filibuster, but he won't vote to get rid of the filibuster. Come on, man. He is totally thwarting Joe Biden's plans in terms of what he's trying to do in this country right now.
Listen to what I'm saying. So my point, though, is this. See, just the way you just framed that is that this is all about a Democrat. Now, Republicans would never make this all about the one Republican in the way. They would continually talk about how the Democratic Party is obstructing this. The Democratic Party won't let America move forward. And we have somehow taken this situation and allowed Mitch McConnell to be off the hook and all of the other Republicans who are the true obstructionists. They said.
That was Mitch McConnell, he said. That's Mitch McConnell.
What did I say?
It didn't sound like Mitch.
I said Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
It's early in the morning. Morning words with Mark. Let me have another sip of coffee. Hold on.
It was Mitch McConnell, people. FCC. It was Mitch.
Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
So Mitch, you heard what you probably wanted to hear. But that's not what I said. But Miss Senator McConnell and his cadre of Republicans, that is where the obstruction lies. And I'll also say this about the filibuster. I don't like it, but we never like it when we're in the majority.
That's correct.
But as soon as it flips, people will be happy that there is still the filibuster, and it will flip soon because it's been a safeguard. I know it kind of sucks. It's not great. I think it should be 50-50 or whatever. But it's there for a reason. It really is. And it makes governing hard. But I just feel like instead of spending a day on social media by progressive lawmakers and activists tearing down Joe Manchin, who is not going to change, keep talking about the Republicans because it's bad messaging. And that's what
I think when you're talking about Joe Manchin, you're talking about a Republican, though. So Joe Manchin had a big meeting with a group of civil rights leaders, right? So the traditional civil rights group, the Leadership Conference on Human and Civil Rights, met with him the other day to have a conversation with him. It was actually yesterday, I believe, to talk with him about his stances on the issues. Mark Morial, who is the president of the National Urban League, had to actually set the meeting up prior to that. Prior to all the latest issues. But it became particularly poignant because Joe Manchin on Sunday wrote an op-ed piece which basically said he was not for the For the People Act, which was the new voting rights legislation that was coming, and that he would support the John Lewis legislation. The John Lewis legislation is a different piece of legislation than the For the People Act. They actually work in concert with each other, not in opposition to one another. But Manchin was basically putting it that these two pieces were in opposition to one another. We need both the restoration of the Voting Rights Act, which the John Lewis bill will do, and then we need an extension of protection for federal voting rights, especially after the 2020 election and the erosion of trust in the election cycle, not because people cheated, but because Donald Trump lied. And so, there's these two pieces, but Manchin's trying to pit them against one another. And most people are saying they're actually both very necessary bills. We don't want them to be pitted against one another. We need to pass both of them. Now there's a group of civil rights leaders in West Virginia that are asking for a meeting with Joe Manchin as well. The meeting with the Leadership Conference of Human and Civil Rights actually didn't go very well. Joe Manchin wasn't moved. He wasn't changing his opinion. He didn't change his opinion about either the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, and he did not change his opinion about the For the People Act. And so now there are leaders in West Virginia that are saying they're going to do this. The Reverend William Barber is planning on doing a Moral Monday action on him in West Virginia, and so forth.
Lord Jesus, help me. Keep me near the cross.
Well, what would you have them do? What would you have them do?
You hold an action against Mitch McConnell. Go to Kentucky.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
When Barack Obama was elected in 2008, he said with a straight face that our #1 agenda is to make sure he gets nothing. When Donald Trump came in, he talked about how he hated Donald Trump, campaigned against him before he became the nominee. And once he got elected president, he fell in line and gave Donald Trump everything he wanted. He refused to even acknowledge that there was an insurrection attempt on January 6th. And now he is trying to block. Will Mega is asking in the chat, is Joe Biden pulling a Jim Kenney? Where's his HBCU money and student loan forgiveness? Look, he can't even get the voting rights piece done, bro. We can't get to that. I mean, we can't get simple legislation done, let alone complex, because of how delicate the balance is. This ain't on Joe Biden. This is on a Republican agenda to obstruct anything that is good for Black people. And they have been about this now for 13 years. And I just think that if you are going to be on message, stay on message. This is not about Joe Manchin. I repeat, this is about Mitch McConnell and none of the Republicans at all supporting any of what Joe Biden has put down, even money that would come to their states through the infrastructure bill.
And
stay on message.
If Joe Manchin fell in line, Mitch McConnell would be neutralized.
It would not change a thing because you have the filibuster.
They could get rid of the filibuster. They only need 51 votes to get rid of the filibuster.
And in about 10 or 12 months from now, when we're looking at a little bit more than that, when the Senate flips like it typically does in a midterm, when one party wins, we'll all be sitting there talking about, why did they get rid of the filibuster? That was crazy. Now Republicans are shoving everything down our throat. We can't even stop it.
But watch what happens when the Republicans take back a slim majority. The first thing they're going to do is get rid of the filibuster. Watch that. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
I hear you, bro. All I'm saying is, look, Democrats, stay on message. It is not difficult because you've never seen this kind of opposition before. You've never seen a party that is so easy to personify as the party that supports almost everything that's bad for Black folk. You got to go back to the 50s and 60s for it to have been as partisan as it is and so blatant against our, things that are good for us. So let's keep the focus. Yes, put pressure on Manchin, do everything you got to do, but let's not keep talking about this as this is all Joe Manchin's fault, because that doesn't help you when you get back to the election cycle, which is about to ramp up. People don't need to go in mad at Manchin. They need to go in mad at Republicans across the state.
Catfish Hillbilly 1.
Yeah.
Says, I agree, Manchin is a distraction. So you got an agreement over there.
Hillbilly.
And then Will Mega says, stop making excuses. Basically, Biden has the ability to make it happen through executive order, not necessarily. The Dems have the votes, dude. Just pass it. No, they don't have the vote. They don't have the votes in the Senate. We have the votes in the House. We don't have the votes in the Senate. That's where the problem is, with Manchin not getting on board. So, and actually, with student loan debt, there is a law that was passed some years ago that the president can do certain things with regard to student loans. He can't forgive 100%, but there is a portion of that, but it's only like $10,000. It's not really significant. That can be forgiven for student loan debt. So just a note about that. There is a law that the president, by executive fiat, could basically just get rid of some student loan debt, but it's not. The way that the law was written, $10,000 back when the law was written would have been significant. Right now, that's 1 year.
So. But this is civics 101. All right. what you can do in a city is different than what you can do in the state, which is different than what you can do on even in the federal level. See, House Republicans can say whatever they want to say because their districts are so small and so, partisan. I mean, like, when is a Republican going to ever win like Dwight Evans's district? Never. It's the most Democratic district in the country the last time I heard. I mean, it's like, what, 80% to 20 or something like that? That's ridiculous. Yeah. So you can say what you want. It is that, but there's a different calculus when you are a senator. And so if you want, I mean, look, all due respect to my good friend, Reverend Barber, coming out of North Carolina to go, hit Joe Manchin, bro, y'all were supposed to win that Senate seat.
Well,
am I right?
Well, you should have.
Go back to the polls of September of last year, and that Senate seat that was up in your state.
But see, that would have made the difference, right? That's part of it.
Hello.
I mean, here's the same thing. I mean, so let me just say this. I mean, it's like part of what you're saying is the reality. Like, how are we gonna move folk to vote for the open Senate seat next year in the U.S.? But I'm still going at the Manchin.
I understand. You can do both, but you can do. But listen, people have a difficult time flipping the switch. And, and if you go hard on your own people for a full 3 or 4 years, we saw that with the Krasner piece. I mean, look, if he ran against a better candidate than Vega, he may have really been in trouble because, again, it's what we do. We go after our own and beat them down. And then it's like, okay, I was just playing. Psych, he's really a good guy. No. In North Carolina, win your open Senate seats. And then we don't have to worry about Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is not different than he is. He has always been this way. He is not new. He has always been 50-50 because it's the only way he can stay in the Senate. He knows it. And trust me, y'all, what will come behind Joe Manchin if Joe Manchin ain't in that seat? He'll be calling for an exorcism. He'd be like, Lord Jesus, we thought Joe Manchin was bad. What is this? We got to take a break. It's 6:42. When we come back, as promised, we got to talk about some of this other, these current stories that are going on here. And yes, more coffee, because apparently my words are not sounding like I intend them. We'll be right back.
First Person Arts in Emoc, Philly presents stories of celebration and family ties in Letter to My Father, Letter to My Son, Evolution. Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Streaming online. Visit firstpersonarts.org for free registration and more information.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That with me live this weekend or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. On our very special Juneteenth episode, we're talking to Griot Marsha Music, writer Baratunde Thurston, and image activist Michaela Angela Davis. More Than That is brought to you by General Motors. Visit GM.com to learn more about their actions and commitment to becoming one of the most inclusive companies in the world. Everybody in.
Juneteenth is in each generation. And that's why it's very important for us to embrace our entire families, our history, our legacy, and it's all about love. We are people of joy. No matter what, we still have joy.
That is a revolution right there. Like, Black joy and leisure is a revolution. And I don't even see it as resistance. It's more inheritance, like stepping into what we deserve. Because, we've been resisting and fighting forever. I want to expand our liberation. How this movement is different than, say, even the movement that I saw in the 70s was this notion of we have to take care of ourselves as well. That, like, support, joy, juicy, good feelings, like, that's a revolution to me.
We're not supposed to be. We're not supposed to be ourselves here. We're not supposed to speak our language here. We're not supposed to express our spirit and our joy here. So when I smile in this existence and I breathe now, it's because a whole bunch of other people made that possible. And I am proud that I exist as a testament to that I can enjoy. So proud of us.
Want the the latest in word swag?
Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk media.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Schuylkill eastbound, busy Blue Route through the curve against City, through the Boulevard to get Montgomery through Girard, westbound side. Broad to Passyunk, heavy there through construction. Westbound Vine Expressway, Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Bit slow. Southbound Boulevard, Route 1 busy. Broad down to Fox through construction. Southbound 95, Jam Cotman through Bridge because of work there. Again, Allegheny through Girard, getting heavy northbound looks good. 55 north, heavy from Deptford into 42. Now is the time to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals never charges job seekers a fee and has more than 35,000 job openings with high demand in construction, driving, logistics, and administrative jobs. Find the location near you at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. Hey, you heard it here first. We're back outside for the first time since the pandemic. Join us Friday, June 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Fresh Grocer on Monument Road for our Reawaken, Reopen, and Renew event, where you can join or renew your forward membership for the discounted early rate of $75. For more information, go to wordradio.com. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. That's this Friday from 10 to 1. And hope folk enjoy that. I actually wanted to be there, but I can't because my daughter's graduating high school. So I
nice.
At a high school graduation.
Is it a real in-person one?
It is. It's going to be outside. I hope it doesn't rain.
Saturday? It's going to be beautiful weather.
Friday. It's Friday.
Oh, well. Be praying for you.
Yeah. It's Friday. In the rain, but it'll be all right.
I saw there's a hilarious TikTok video of this young guy just graduated high school. He's just like going off, just screaming that it's over. I had a 30-plus year flashback. I said, dude, that was me. I was like, thank you, God. I didn't know it wasn't really over.
No, dude, you had 1, 2, 3 more degrees to go through.
Forget the degrees. You just think that at 18 you're done. Nobody's going to tell you what to do anymore. It's like now, actually, there are many. Now there are many more people who tell you what to do. Banks tell you what to do. Credit card companies tell you what to do.
The IRS tells you what to do.
There are a lot of people that are going to tell you what to do. I mean, if I had only known, if I go back and tell 18-year-old Mark, it's like, hey, you actually you should have been happy in high school. Those were your best days. I had to worry about just getting the homework in on time, bro.
There you go.
Listen, again, these are trying times, and all I'm saying is let's just stay on message, and let's remember, where our opposition comes from, the true opposition, and I think we can agree on that that there are some forces out there that don't want to see us have anything at all, not just the voting rights stuff, but higher wages. People fight for this as though it's like their money. Mm-hmm. Right, because they've basically been had by some of these outside groups that have their own interests, and their interests don't necessarily align with ours, and they fight for it tooth and nail, and they never forget who they actually work for, and it's not really the American people, not all the American people, not the majority, but a very small fraction.
They work for multinational corporations.
There you go. Well, listen, a bit of relief, I think, from the community if, in fact, law enforcement has gotten the right person. The tragic shooting and killing of Christine Lugo, and I hope it's Christine, not Christina, but Christine Lugo, the manager of the Dunkin' Donuts, who was opening when you see the video of her actually talking to the guy before she goes in the store, man, you just kind of wish you'd just run off and not gone in, but she probably had no idea that this guy was just, the person who killed her was just crazy like that. they've caught a person of interest. They had not done any charges yet against the person. I think he's in Wilmington, but they seem to believe this is the person that they're looking for. You know, all of that time will tell. But if what we're hearing is true, they're also saying that there is a connection to her killing and the killing of a T-Mobile young woman manager. It's a very similar situation, working by herself in Delaware. And I remember that story, and then you didn't hear anything else about it, which also goes back to what I was saying earlier about these corporations where employees are getting killed. T-Mobile has money. If they had put a significant reward out, perhaps the person who killed her would not have been able to do this again. Right. I don't know how much they put in, but I can't imagine, you know, it was much, because this guy's been out, you know, whoever did it, if these two are truly connected. And then one other strange piece of information is, at least the report that I heard today is they believe that the person who killed both of them also killed his own mother first.
Wow.
That started this.
Yeah.
And I don't, again, we don't know if this is the person or not, but they have a person of interest, but they're saying as it relates to the story, the person that they're looking for, they believe is connected to all three of those. And, you know, again, this is, you know, people misunderstand my position. I'll say my position around, you know, policing and my criticism. You know, yes, I think we do need police for serious crimes like this. And I think that we need, you know, prisons for serious, you know, people who have committed serious acts of violence.
Totally agree.
Do we need as many people in jail as we have now? Of course not. No. Do we need as many police as we have? Of course not. I mean, we need people who are out there doing other kind of things on the street, mental health services, people who know how to handle domestic, you know, situations without the need for bringing guns into it. But there are times in our community like this that require a very specialized service. And I think that is a part of the issue that we have to talk about whenever we're talking about, you know, reform versus abolishment and, you know, and all of that. And it's not easy.
No, I totally agree with you. This is, you know, this is one of those cases where that I talk about all the time that I'm like, yeah, you know, I believe there's real evil in the world. And some folk are just not that easily reformed, and they need to spend time in a facility. So this is that moment. I mean, if this turns out to be that particular you know, person of interest, and this happens to be what they did, then yeah, they need to go to jail.
Wow. So I didn't see this part. Deborah, I'm just going to read her comment. Kudos to the lady who he pistol whipped, who put a tracking device in his bag that got him caught.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you know, hey, look, let's talk about the people who have been killed in connection.
Yeah.
His mom probably was a black woman. I mean, he does not look biracial. The young woman at T-Mobile, I believe, was Puerto Rican or Dominican, but she looked like she was, you know, Latinx. Likewise, Miss Lugo. Could it be that there wasn't the kind of rush to find somebody because of those things?
Right. I mean, I was certainly thinking about that. I was wondering, I'm like, well, was the T-Mobile manager black? You know, did they have his picture up on the screen after?
It was a she.
She, yeah. I mean, yeah. Was she black? You know, did they have her picture up there? You know, did they just dismiss it because it was a black woman that was killed that wasn't just, you know, a top priority? So I was certainly thinking that when you were mentioning it in the story. I'm like, yeah, they didn't. Somebody had mentioned, they said, well, did they even look? And I'm like, yeah, that's a real good question, you know, because I think a lot of times folk can make up stories. Oh, it was a domestic violence situation. It was this or that. And, you know, I mean, I don't know what the police department did or didn't do. And that would have been down in Delaware. But, you know, I got some questions.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, like I said, again, from the picture that I saw of her, the T-Mobile employee, that she looked like she was Latinx.
Okay, so she has some melanin in her skin.
Yeah.
Because if she had been a white woman, they'd have put out an all points bulletin. They'd called out the FBI, the state police. They'd called out everybody else to go find this guy.
That's kind of my point.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to make your point for you.
There's a picture of her. So yeah, she's man.
That's hard.
Yeah, Ruiz, her last Ruiz was a part of her name. And so this is what we talk about in these stories all the time. The very different approach based on who the suspect is, who the victim is. It's, maybe they just wrote it off as, domestic issue, probably a former lover. No way somebody's just going to come in and just randomly rob and just kill an employee. But again, if it had not been for all the attention of the Dunkin' Donuts story, this person probably would not have been caught and captured and probably been able to continue to do this. And again, it just opens up an entire Pandora's box of the problems that we have with the current approach to law enforcement and why we need not just surface changes, but deep changes.
Gotcha. Well, look, folks, that's our time for today. We thank you for listening to us here on the Power Hour. We appreciate you, Dr. Tyler, for everything that you do, for Kwesa for holding down the boards every single day. Thank you for everybody checking us out on the air, through Facebook, through YouTube, through Alexa. Hey, Alexa, turn on WURD Radio. Listen, we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to continue the conversation. Stay tuned now for Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. And family, do us a favor. Go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.